Hi. Good morning, everyone. My name is Robin Mucha, and today we have two special guests with us on the call. We have Stacy Elias Granara and Lee Elias. So today we are going to talk to them about building your brand and creating fans to generate to your brand to make them lifelong consumers of your product. So we're going to start with Lee. Lee and Stacy, I've known them both for about 4 years now. I've met them both in Florida through each other. And they both are really skilled and talented in the knowledge about sales, marketing, and consumer brand development. Lee has been working in digital media consulting for the last couple of years, and most recently, him and Stacy have worked together to put together this book called Think Like a Fan. And Think Like a Fan is going to teach you all about how to build those lifelong consumers, what we call in our business our lifers. So turning those customers into fans. And I'm really excited to have them on the call today. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to them. So Lee, Stacy, go ahead, take it away. I'm going to mute myself.
Well, thanks, Rob. I'm going to screen share. If you don't mind telling me if you can see it. You should be able to see it in a second here. You got it up there? Thumbs up?
I see it.
All right, beautiful. Okay, so thanks for everybody that's on the call, and thank you if you are watching this on YouTube or another channel, Robin's blog, wherever you're at. My name is Lee, and I wrote a book with my best friend Stacy. A little bit more information about that right here. The book's called Think Like a Fan. There's a little bit of information about us on the screen there as well. It was a really great process writing with her. I don't know how many people get to write a book with their best friend. So without further ado, I'll kind of jump into what it's about. When we talk about consumers and we talk about broadcasting and we talk about getting the word out there about what it is that you're trying to do, no matter what the business is, whether it's sports, whether it's health, whether it's just general sales, we have to understand kind of the platform that we're talking on now. So when we look at the word broadcasting, one of the big things we talked about in the project was to redefine the word. So this is a traditional model right here of how broadcasting works. It's not the way it works anymore, but in a traditional world, businesses would have a message. They'd give it to radio, newspaper, television, and then they'd pass that message on to the consumer through an advertisements or a television show. Now, this does still exist today. I think a minute ago I said it doesn't. It's starting to die out a little bit. It does exist today, but the modern broadcasting landscape looks much more like this. And what you can see here is that it's no longer one-dimensional. It's not business to consumer and that's it. It's businesses can talk to consumers, consumers can talk to businesses can talk to other businesses, and it makes this kind of ecosystem where communication is now really open land for everybody. We all have a voice now, whereas really just 15 years ago, we didn't. If you didn't like the way a product worked or you didn't enjoy how a company did something, there was really very limited ways to communicate with them. Now you can see in the center of this, through this ecosystem, there's unlimited ways to communicate. So when we think of broadcasting and you think about how to get your message out, don't think it's just, oh, I need to have a big budget and I need to get on TV. You can do everything today through social media, internet, digital devices. It's an unlimited landscape. I mean, if you're watching this, I'm broadcasting to you, not through your television set, unless you're watching this on a TV set through YouTube. I'm broadcasting this to you through the internet. So the whole landscape has changed. Okay, and when the landscape changes, it brings us to this kind of new world of how to communicate in terms of your persona, all right? And what we do when Stacy and I consult businesses, we tell them, speak with your audience, not at your audience. And I promise you that's the only time I'm going to read off a slide, all right? But speak with an audience, not at your audience. And what does that mean? It means in this ecosystem I just talked about, it's insanely important that you treat others the way you want to be treated. All right, so when you think about a big business, a lot of times they might talk down to their consumers, or they might talk as if the consumer is not a real person, they're just a dollar sign. And this is where the think like a fan idea comes into it. We don't want businesses to look at consumers as consumers. They're your fans. These people are loyal to your brand. So treat them the way you want to be treated. We'll build on this throughout the presentation. So building on it, like I said, trust and authenticity are very important today. And what I love about this next slide, these are 3 advertisements from the golden age of advertising, as they would call it. So in the 1950s and 60s. And the first one says, More doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette, therefore saying that doctors promote smoking. The second one says, for a better start in life, give your little baby soda. And the third one, which is kind of one of my favorites, is, wrap your baby in cellophane so they can't breathe. It's perfectly good for them. But as you can see in all three of these advertisements, I mean, they're victims of their time, right? The first ad, obviously, doctors, if they knew that smoking was bad for you, they weren't saying anything. It wasn't common knowledge. We know not to give our kids soda. We know not to wrap your baby up in cellophane today. But the idea here is this. These are not honest ads. They bend the truth. They're not using trust and authenticity is a key. And don't think that ads today aren't like this. There's a lot of advertisements today that go like this, and they tend not to connect to an audience. When I do this presentation in front of people, I usually ask people what are some of their favorite ads. And I'll just tell you for the purposes of this that, some of the great ones I get back, a lot of people like Flo, the progressive girl. A lot of people like sports ads today. And the common theme when people respond, okay, is that their favorite ads are when there's a connection between them and whoever the business is. So one of the funny things about Flo, the progressive lady, is they like Flo on Facebook. And I asked the person that said that, so you like Flo, but have you like progressive? And they said no. So it's a perfect example of, Flo connected to that person. They were able to do that. They're talking with each other. All right. That's how you get through to an audience today. All right. And if you do, guys, if you have any questions you want to jump in, feel free. Okay. And this brings us into our large part of the presentation here. And it's when you're doing any type of marketing or community building online, you need to build a base. Okay. So we use this metaphor of build an online city, all right, and make it a community. And what you're looking at on the screen right now are 5 elements of that city. All right. It starts with a foundation. Okay. And a foundation is you. All right. What is your mission? What is your goal with your company? Now, this seems like an easy question, but I can ask people that, and a lot of people will say, oh, my goal is just to sell as much of this as I can. Well, that's not really a company mission. I'm not going to buy into that. So you want to sell something. Everybody's selling something, right? So when I do this in front of people, I say, this is my mission today, is to make sure this does not happen to my audience. Okay, so hopefully that's not happening. I see a couple smiles there, so that's a good spot. All right. The next thing is this. Educate your audience, okay? Educate your audience on you or your company. So now that I know my company mission, all right, as a business, I know what I stand for. Educate your audience on that. And it's not hard to do that. If you guys look at this photo, you can see a lot about me, and I don't even have to say anything. All right, you can look at this right now, and you can just, this is what I stand for. This is who I am. Odds are you can connect with something on here. I think we can all connect with the family aspect of it. All right, but you can connect with something. All right, and you know about me. Again, I'm just going to speak because you're here. We know I like ice hockey. We know I'm a nerd. All right. We know I'm from Philadelphia. We know I have pets. We know that I love my family very much, and we know that I'm an Air Force spouse. If you're an Air Force spouse, raise your hand. Yeah, there you go. All right, I like it. All 3 of us. All right. Yes, male military spouses do exist. Don't worry. All right. But you're learning a lot about me here. And what I'm giving you as an audience is a way to connect to me somehow on a personal level. All right. So now you know my goal. You know a little bit about me, right? How do I get this information out there? Well, that's the simplest part of this entire thing today. We have unbelievable access to get to people. These are all my social media accounts. This is my website at the bottom right. This is how I connect with people. This is the way I broadcast. In a city, there's the trains, there's boats, there's cars, there's other trains, right? There's highways, there's roads. There's so many ways to get around a city today. It's no different online. When you broadcast online, the transit routes are everywhere. You just have to know which ones are there for you to use, and you have to know which ones lead to different places. My Facebook audience is very different from my Pinterest audience, and Twitter and Google Plus and YouTube and so on. So I'm able to speak to these people in different ways. One of the ones that isn't on there is LinkedIn. That's a completely different audience. They're completely different when you speak to them. So those are the transit ways. That's the arteries of your city. Now, getting to the next one, I always switch this up a tiny bit, but industry. So one of the things that business owners always like when we talk about is competition, right? There's other people doing what we do, all right? There's other people giving speeches like I'm giving. There's other people working in health and wellness and everything. So traditionally, it's just these are my competition. I have to beat my competition. All right. And today, it's not that way so much. Okay. You can latch on and you can have a synergistic attitude with other people and other businesses and really grow the fan base for everybody, because the real estate online is really limitless. Okay. There is enough for everybody. Whether you believe that or not, there is enough for everybody. It's a global audience. So like a little exercise that I love to do here is I put up all these sports teams. Okay. I was giving this presentation in New Jersey and New York yesterday. So I have a lot of New Jersey and New York teams up here. And what I tend to do is I say, which one of these teams speak to you? Do you like these teams? And regardless of where I'm at, I always get like a Yankee fan versus a Red Sox fan, or a Jets fan versus a Pats fan. And I get these two people talking and just colliding about how much they hate each other's teams. And I'll let them go for 5 minutes. And then when they stop, I say, was that not the best advertisement for your two teams? I said, you two can't stand each other, but you love to talk about these two teams. The online world is no different, okay? And I'm not saying you should clash with other people. The point here is that you can have a discussion online about pros and cons, and it all benefits everybody. I'm not going to turn a Jets fan into a Patriots fan. It's never going to happen. But they're learning about each other. Jets fans jump in the conversation. All of a sudden, you get all these fans, get all these people to jump in and start talking. It builds your fan base. So don't be afraid to communicate with other businesses. Again, you don't have to clash with them, but start discussions. Talk about methods you're using and methods that they're using. Talk about how your stuff worked and how it can help somebody else and what worked for you. You start a conversation like that, people are going to jump in. And it all goes back to everything we've been talking about: trust and authenticity. Speak with your audience. You're starting a community. Now there's a community of learning. And when you get a community of learning, fans love that. They grows and grows and grows. That's how you really build the fan base, okay? And then the last one, it's the most important, is the people in the city. They're your fans, okay? And look at them like that. There's so many. I mean, the whole world, I shouldn't say that. 2/3 of the world is online, okay? They're there for you. You have a niche audience. One of the most beautiful things about the digital age is that we can follow our interests to the most minute aspect. I can go to a website for my favorite team's coach and find out as much as I want about him. We all have that ability today. All right. One of the companies that does this so beautifully is Apple. And I always say, whether you love or hate Apple, no one can deny them that their marketing is some of the best on the planet. They speak with their audience. The image on the left of my screen, I believe it's left of your screen too, is the first iPod commercial. And all it was silhouettes of people dancing with this very bright iPod. It got the message across quickly. You love music. We love music. We have a device that lets you listen to music. Let's all listen to music together. And you know what? The whole world did. And then the iPhone came out. If you remember the first iPhone ad, it was just an iPhone on the screen, swipe. Here's what it does. I like it. You like it. The whole world's on it. Before the iPhone, there was limited amounts of smartphones. Now it seems like the whole world's on a smartphone, to the point, if you have a flip phone, someone makes fun of you. And then, like I said, Steve Jobs and the rest of the group, they speak with their audience. They're just so good about being outgoing and letting you know that you're part of their community. And no one can deny, Apple has rabid fans. They show up at the door for releases and they wait outside. And they're so popular that Microsoft and Droid fans will show up to heckle them. That's how big of a community they've created. I don't know anybody that stands outside their favorite store, unless it's like Black Friday, to support their store, and then people come and clash about it. It's amazing. It's a great company to look at if you're trying to do this. So one of the nice things about this presentation is the next part. When we talk about fans and we talk about growing your business, there is no better salesperson for your business than your fan base. There isn't. We speak to organizations. I've worked with organizations that have large sales teams, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sales teams are great. There is no better sales force than your current fan base. In fact, in the book, we call them a fan force. And we force people to try and rethink it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about an organization that I worked with and how we revitalized their organization by using just their fans. And Robin, just let me know how I'm doing on time if you need, okay? Just put your hands up if I'm getting low. So I currently live in England, the UK. And one of the businesses that I work with is a professional ice hockey team over there called the Peterborough Phantoms. And it's a really proud fan base. So when I got there, this gives you an idea, they were doing really bad. They were at the bottom of the standings, one of the worst teams in the league. You can see from the attendance is abysmal, okay? some of you have more Facebook followers than the team had and Twitter followers, okay? Their YouTube channel was run by a fan, and this is what their website looked like the day before I took over. Horrendous. This is a professional sports team. And just because it's in England doesn't mean that it's not have the following like a pro team over here. I mean, it's kind of a big deal over there. So we walked in, and they said, we want to get our fan base bigger. We need to get better, or the team's going to have some real financial problems. So they said to me, where do we start? And we went around the room, and a lot of, we need to sell more of these. We need to sell more of those. We need billboards. And I said, we can do this with absolutely little to no marketing budget at all. And I said, you start with these people, right? And this is not a fake shot. This is an actual shot of fans at a game. And when you see this, you can see, especially with the guy in the middle, who I know is actually a really nice guy. These fans are super passionate about their hockey team, right? Does this or does this not pictures sell you that something good happens when this team plays ice hockey, whether you're a sports fan or not? You want to know about what's going on. So we're going to use these people. So we jumped right into it. We rebranded the team. For the first season I was there, we created a thing called Reborn. We let the fans know we are new, we are reborn, we are changing things. We started broadcasting really user-friendly content. Our thing at the bottom says Casenomics. That was a Legends night. We had him come out. We gave all the fans things like this on Facebook and Twitter and said, share it. Share these things with everyone you know. Let your friends know about it. We took in Fan TV, which is their YouTube channel, and we made it a team channel. And we actually told the guy running it, hey, you're part of the staff now. He loved that. You think that pumped him up? We made 5 TV shows a week. So we had literally a show a night on YouTube. And what do you think we told the people? Watch it and share it. Watch it and share it. And then on top of that, we did things like a social blitz. We rebranded all of our social media. Please share it. Please like it. People did this. We created a thing called Fan Force, which was a fan-run organization. We wanted to give our fans ownership from the team. And now it was watched by the organization. Obviously, we didn't just give it to them and let them run. We oversaw it. But these people they raised 5,000 pounds for the team. They got buses for the team. They showed their passion. And it was all we did was just give them the ability to do it. And then Mission 1000 was a really successful campaign in which we made an incentive-based program that to the current fans coming, if you bring a new person, you get points. And if that person brings a new person, you get points. And the points could be redeemed for free jerseys, season ticket, lots of things. We had a guy actually win a whole season ticket. What do you think we did with that? We broadcasted that. We put that all over social media. And it got more people in. So there was much more that we did that I could fit on a screen here. But at the end of the day, after a season, the attendance went up over 45%. Okay, the team actually won the league championship this past season, which helps. I gotta say this: winning helps bring fans in from a sports point of view, but it's not needed. It just makes things really, really easy. All right, so the team won after this year. But look at some of these social media stats: 355% increase on Facebook, the group page. We created a team page. They got 1,000 followers in 1 year, 1,000 plus. Twitter, 424% increase. Fan TV, 3 to 5 videos a week. We talk about broadcasting. We were broadcasting. Okay, a massive, massive increase in fans. From a business point of view, massive, massive revenue increase. Okay, a lot more money goes into the team. Business is thriving. And, of course, that crappy website turned into a website that we're all quite proud of. You can see the championship stuff on the front there. 111% increase in site traffic. 40,000 page views a month on average. And if you saw before, it was below 20,000. Think about that. We've also, and this is, Stacy knows this is my favorite stat, we've replaced the local newspaper as the place to get team news from. All right? That's actually not common. So if you think about your favorite sports teams or your favorite things, there's usually a source. It's not often the actual entity that's the news source. And we replaced it. In fact, the newspaper's mad at us now for doing that, which I don't mind because I was involved in this. But it was a complete revitalization, and it really worked. It was a wonderful experience. So this next thing actually goes 2 different ways, right? So either you've embraced technology already or you're not sure of it. So no matter where you're watching it, this will speak to you, all right? I love this slide a lot because if you look at the guy, this MTV superstar from 1987, all of that stuff now fits in your pocket that he has here, okay? Now, we know that, okay? But there are people out there, and you may be one of the people listening, that, smartphones and digital communication might not be something that you're awesome at. And that's okay. I will tell you, though, don't fear that technology. Embrace it, okay? On the other side of that, there are people who can't understand how people don't know this technology. And that's okay, too. But it's very important, especially if you're a business owner, that you acknowledge that there's people out there that have a hard time with this. And if they do, you need to help them into it and invite them into it. My mother didn't buy an iPhone until last year. She had a flip phone forever. And she was terrified. And, the response she got a lot was, just do it. It's so easy. Well, that's not what she wanted to hear. So we brought her to the Apple store. She did it. Within 10 minutes, she got it. An iPhone's not something that's hard to get. She bought it. We FaceTime all the time now. Probably too much. I get calls all the time. Right? But no matter what side of the spectrum you're on this, embrace the technology. Don't fear it. Enjoy it. Okay? And this brings us to the final part of this, which is called There's No Giraffes in Ghana, which I love because nobody knows what it's about until I go into it. But I love this line about unlimited access. One of the beautiful things about today is just there's so much access to information. You can learn anything. You can learn about whatever you want today. That's unprecedented, really, in our humanity. There's never been a time where so much information has been available. And what's funny about that is situations like this can happen. So in 2014, during the World Cup of Soccer, I almost said football, being in England, the World Cup of Soccer, USA beat Ghana 2-1. And if you look to the left of the screen, you see this great ad from Delta where USA, represented by the Statue of Liberty, got 2 goals, and Ghana, being represented by a giraffe, had 1 goal. The only problem is there are no giraffes in the country of Ghana at all. There's no giraffes in that part of Africa, all right, unless you go to the zoo. So obviously this was taken to heart by a lot of people. And if you look to the right, you see some of the reaction. I love the one that says RIP to Delta's social media manager. The Giraffe Wildlife Foundation got into this, and they actually retweeted it and said, you could have checked with us before you put the stupid post out. I love that because it's a guerrilla marketing. The point is it would not have been hard for these people to search if there's giraffes in Ghana. All right. Now, to be fair to Delta, and I've said this, and this is something we read about in the book, the hardest mistake to catch is the one you don't know exists. Okay. Odds are they just didn't think. They said, "Oh, Ghana's in Africa, giraffe," and they put it out there. You can't afford to do this today because someone's gonna figure it out, and they're gonna call you on it. So when you're putting stuff out there, even when you're in a rush, especially on social media, really think about, okay, is everything that I just created here 100% accurate? And do I know it? Have I double checked it, triple checked it? Have I searched Google? I always say, when in doubt, Google it out. All right, unlimited access to information. Don't ever go into something like, oh, I think that's right. I think that's okay. All right, because process of elimination, eventually you're going to be wrong and you're going to have to pay for it. And it can really, I don't want to say ruin a business, but it can cripple it. 60 minutes of research could save you 60 days of crisis management. So the resolution to this, by the way, was Delta actually had to tweet out an apology. What you got is the actual apology. They made a spelling mistake in the original apology, and they had to do it again because they were fumbling around. It's a small mistake that turned into a big deal for Delta. All right. Now I don't know if they lost any flights over it, but they definitely had a problem. So that's actually the end of the brief abbreviated presentation that I was asked to put together. You can see a picture of me and a much better lady in Stacy. And our website for the book is thinklikeafanbook.com. And I really hope you enjoyed it. We love talking with people. We love going through this stuff. Well, we find that it really motivates people to kind of do things beyond what they thought possible. So if there's any questions, I'll take them. Or if Stacy, if you want to add anything, or Robin, now's the time.
Thank you so much for that, Lee. I feel like this is exactly what our team needs, because I know that, for us specifically, we build our brand only on social media. A lot of us don't really interact with other people face to face, or not walking up to people at the grocery store being like, hey, do you want to buy Shakeology? It's not really how that happens. So I talk to my team a lot about connecting with their audience and building that audience and being authentic. We talk a lot about your story and sharing your story with your audience and stuff. Will you just do me a favor and unshare your screen?
Oh, yeah. How do I do this? Stop share, probably?
Yeah.
Let me hit the escape button. That might help, too.
Yeah.
Stop.
Awesome.
There, better?
Okay. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I do have a couple of questions for you. I was taking diligent notes. What do you think is like, either you or Stacey, what do you think is the number one place where you should start with connecting your fans? Whether it's a social media platform or maybe like the first time you post about it, or I think a lot of our team gets overwhelmed on where to start, and they're like, oh my God, I have like there's Twitter, so all these things. Like, what do you think is the first step that they should do to kind of like introduce themselves as this brand?
Yeah, well, Stace, I'll jump on that if that's okay.
Yeah.
The first phase, it's funny because we just launched a book, right? So like we have the same type of situation here. And we started exactly where we're kind of talking about starting. We started with our own friends. Now, this is the key. We never came across with this book, and Robin, you know this, you're one of our friends. We never came across like, hey, we've got a book out and you should buy the book because the book will help you. Like, we never did anything like that. The thing we did was, hey, friends, all right, we've been working on this project. You know about it. We want to show you and share with you what we're doing. Let us know your thoughts. That was it. That was all we did. It wasn't even a soft sell. It wasn't a sell at all. It was just like, look, we've been working on this and you support us. What do you think people did? I'm sitting in front of you right now in a meeting.
Yeah.
We got, I don't know how many shares. Our video got a ton of views. All right. And both of us were extremely flattered. All right. That's how it started. All right. And we're slowly now kind of branching out, meeting with people and talking with people and explaining to people what the book is. And it's never a sell. I mean, and I say sell in the traditional sense. I don't mean like what we're talking about. Because yeah, we are selling something. I'm not shy about saying that, but It's not like the car salesman sell. And then again, it's branching out to different social media networks and knowing your audience and talking like that. Stace, did you want to say anything about that?
I think when you're also picking a particular medium to communicate, do what's most comfortable. For me, that's Instagram. I just love Instagram. For you, I think it's Facebook. But we are getting traction just based on that. I mean, I'm more comfortable posting on that one on Instagram versus Facebook. I think with you, it's the other way around, but we're getting traction because that's how we communicate. And that's how our audience, our friends are able to, connect with us. And that's where they're used to connecting with us. So just do what feels organic and just do what feels right, and do what feels genuine. And you'll get the traction you're looking for.
Awesome. Okay, so my next question is we definitely talk a lot about, building that fan base and building that trust and relationship with consumers. And most of it's going to be on a free level. We're not trying to sell to them. So I think one of the most important things also for our team is, like we are in this to make money. Definitely we want to make friends and make people feel good and everything. But what is the tip do you have from converting those fans to customers rather than customers to fans?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this. When I spoke in the presentation about really finding what your mission is, okay, or finding what you're about, that's what sells today. So when you talk about garnering people, there's a great speaker, Simon Sinek, who talks about people don't buy what you're selling, they buy what you do, or who you are, excuse me. So really, when someone's buying your product, okay, they're buying it because they want to be loyal to you. They want to believe in you, not just the product. So, to answer your question, really think about that when you're approaching people and when they're coming to you. Look, I really believe in this product that I'm presenting to you. And let me tell you why I believe in it. Let me tell you what it does for me. Let me tell you about why I love it. Not about, if you look at the back here, you can clearly see that, you'll make this much of the fat on during the day. I mean, that's the difference between they buy kind of about you. They buy who you are, not what you're selling.
Okay, great. And then my most favorite thing that you said in the whole presentation is about being a leader. And that's definitely something that we want to build on our team is we want to create a team of leaders. So what is both of you, what is your number one tip for developing yourself as a leader and sharing your passion with others?
Stacey, you want to jump on that?
I actually want to add something to the last question, if that's
sure.
okay.
Yeah.
So what I find a lot with a lot of promotion and a lot of sales stuff is what lacks sometimes is a call to action, and I think that's like the old school sales, the close. But it's not necessarily like you don't have to think about it like that. It's just asking them sometimes, like, what do you think about this? Or is this something that you can find in your life, that you can find useful in your life? Is this something you could benefit from? Just asking those questions or creating kind of that conversation, that close, and that call to action. So yeah, that's what I wanted to add to the last one. And then remind me what the question was again.
What is your number one tip for developing yourself as a leader or sharing your passion? We talk a lot about our team. We read a lot of personal development. We listen to podcasts, stuff like that. So maybe what is your favorite way to grow yourself and to help others grow as leaders?
So I do this, oh my God, the lights in this house are like motion sensors. For me, it's really, Leah touched on the mission. I do that exercise a lot where I look at my mission, my vision, and my why. And that's where I'm able to stay focused. So I worked with a life coach 2 years ago. And when I worked with him, those are the 3 questions he asked me. He was like, what is your mission? Which is, your overall goal. Like, you want to grow your business, you want to grow your brands, you want to develop yourself as a leader. And then he asked me what my vision was. And when I did it, I pretty much just reiterated the same thing as my mission. He's like, no, you need to sit down and really look at what is your lifestyle going to look like? What, like your family, your career, like what does all that look like? What are you eating every day? And, by the time I got done with that, I had a whole page and a half. And I thought it was amazing. Oh God, I have feedback. What's going on? But that was able to give me the direction I was looking for in order to stay focused on my goals and stay focused as a leader. And when you really get focused on that and you hone in on that, you start to live your truth, which I talk about a lot, speak your truth, and people will see you as a leader just based on that. They're looking for that, that authenticity, that genuine person, that person that's really, going out there and living their mission and their vision. And I think if you stay focused on what you're looking for and you really live that and you're not worried about what other people are saying or doing or whatever, you're able to really put yourself out there as a leader.
Awesome. All right. And Lee, what about you?
Yeah, no, Stace told me that story once before, actually, I remembered it because I hadn't heard that before. That's a really great way of looking at it too. In the book, when we talk about it, it's a lot of it's knowing you're the leader. All right. So Stacy will tell you, a long time back when I started working on these concepts, my attitude was like, a lot of people know about this stuff. And through her and our publisher, it was like, no, you know this stuff. You're the leader in this stuff. Start believing that. And the more we did the process, the more I started to feel that way. And when I started to help people and I could see that there was a light bulb going off, I started to realize, look, we are leaders in this kind of topic, And I think that's the first step, is to say, look, I am a leader in this. I research this stuff. I'm talking about you all, not just me. And I believe in what I'm doing. That makes you a leader. And then the next step is to portray yourself as a leader, not in a condescending way, but just to portray yourself like, hey, I've really researched this. I know about this topic. What do you think? And learn. That's what makes a leader to me, someone who's going to surround themselves with people that help them learn.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for being on this call. This definitely was amazing and eye-opening and exactly what I needed, because I'm kind of in a slump in my business and I'm definitely ready to get this week started. And it was the perfect way to start my morning at 8 o'clock in the morning with you all beautiful people. And will you just let everyone know where they can buy your book? I've already pre-ordered it, even though I would like a signed copy, but let everyone know when and where they can get your book from.
Yeah, absolutely. The book is on pre-order right now at 2 places, alohapublishing.com, which is our publisher, and it's also on amazon.com. And if you'd like any more information on it, you can go to thinklikeafanbook.com. And that has a lot of information about the book, Stacy, myself, as of the videos there, and you can see a lot of stuff there.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much again. This was seriously invaluable information. And I will post the recording and the link shortly. So I hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Well, thanks for having us, Robin.